what has been the hardest part about, being underestimated, being typecast?
Being part of pop culture is a blessing, but it's also a little bit of a deficit. You have to fight for it.
What does beauty mean to you now?
I want to play characters in film and not in my personal life anymore. And I love makeup and I love glamour, but this is an experiment I'm doing for myself. I'm trying to figure out who I am. Still, it never ends. I like how you guys say my name.
Radio.
Pamela Anderson. Pamela.
Very posh.
Yeah.
I love this.
Hi.
Pamela Anderson, it is so good to speak to you.
Nice to meet you.
This is a real bucket list moment for me.
Really?
Yes, it is. So,
Okay, we gotta make it good then.
Before we properly start, I want to just tell you the very quick story of why it's a bucket list.
Oh.
I went to uni in Nottingham, and there was a club called Ocean. And every night at 12 o'clock in Ocean, they would play the Baywatch theme tune, where everyone would take off their tops and wave them in the air.
Oh, wow.
There was one night where David Hasselhoff came. And literally performed for all of us, Jump in the Car. It was brilliant.
Oh my God.
But
Jump in the car.
Yeah.
I know that song. That
Yeah.
song is pretty funny.
That's the
And
one
the video is hysterical.
The whole thing was hysterical.
Oh,
but
gosh.
that night, I said to myself, this is cool, but the person that I really want to meet, and this was like 10 years ago, the person I really want to meet is Pamela Anderson. So
Oh.
this is a real bucket list moment.
Well, nice to meet you.
And I want to say congratulations
Thank
on
you.
this beyond beautiful film. It is just the most gorgeous thing, so much heart. And there were a couple moments that really struck me. So there was the scene in the restaurant where Shelley said, feeling seen, feeling beautiful, that's powerful.
But the costumes, the sets, being bathed in that light night after night, feeling seen, feeling beautiful, that is powerful. And I can't imagine my life without it.
How did this movie make you feel seen in a way in which you never have done before?
That's exactly it. I mean, the movie was an opportunity for me to, to express myself in ways I haven't been able to in the past. And I feel like every movie heals parts of yourself. And I didn't realize, I kind of thought, I could never have played Shelley the way I did if I didn't have the life experience that I had, starting from a very young girl. So I thought it was all worth it that I could actually put all of that into this film and to really draw from that experience. And I can imagine that Shelley had a similar life as I did, and finding her way and finding some way to be seen and to feel beautiful and to express her talent. And she probably took dance lessons and all these things in her life and put all of her life into this, and then to feel it being ripped away was such an interesting crossroads to explore, because life is about reinvention and chapters, and she's hitting this crossroads. And I think that's what's so moving about this film, and that, we shot this movie in 18 days. So it was, somewhere between a short film and a full-length feature film. And if we had more time, we could have explored more deeply. But I kind of like that it's left ambiguous in some ways, where you can bring your own life experience to it. I think the audience is a character. People feel different things with it and where she's going to go. And so I kind of feel like it's poetic in a way. It's not spelled out for you, but you feel it. And I think that is when you know you've done your job, when you see tears in the audience or laughter or engagement, and it sits with you. People tell me that they think about this film like weeks after they've seen it, and I love that. Because for me, when I watch a film and I'm thinking about it later, that's a sign of something that's touched my heart.
And I got to tell you, it really touched my heart. And, there were so many scenes in this which were just so powerful. And, for example, that audition scene when you had to dance, and the kind of crushing defeat afterwards when that casting director was saying, no, we're looking for something different. And what you just said there about life being like a reinvention, something that really struck me as well was when Shelley said, doing a job that you don't love doing is really hard. So I know you've been, people have kind of put you in a box for so many years within Hollywood. What has been the hardest part about, being underestimated, being typecast?
Well, you can only surprise people.
And you've definitely surprised people here.
But, I look back and I think, even though those characters, CJ on Barbed Wire, even Valerie Irons in V.I.P. and Barbed Wire, they're Halloween costumes. I mean, because they're not just about the costumes, it's what's in the costume. So there's a lot of heart in all of those roles. And it may not have been, thespian in any way, but also I was 27 years old when I did Barbed Wire, and I didn't see it until 27 years later. And I watched it in French with English subtitles, because I thought I could stomach it that way. But no, it was great. It was fun. You're just learning. You're learning. You do it your own way. I took an unorthodox route to get here, and being part of pop culture is a blessing, but it's also a little bit of a deficit. You have to kind of convince people that you're a human being and you have feelings and that there's more to you than meets the eye, and then transform into characters. So you have to fight for it. And I believe in fighting for things, and it's strange that this movie almost slipped through my fingers. It went to an old agent, he passed on it.
I hope you fired that old agent, by the way.
Well, I don't have him anymore. I have a new
Thank
agent.
God.
And I have, and my son, Gia, went to my son,
of course.
and he brought it to me. So that's what happens in life. Sometimes things, you have to recognize opportunity, and sometimes really beautiful things, there's always a hurdle. And so that was my hurdle. And I felt like when I got it, I thought, okay, well, I'm going to take this on. Like, this just didn't come, things don't come easy, and I loved that about it. And I thought that was the magical part of it, because a lot of it has to do with the stars aligning, timing. It's a team sport. I have great people around me now, and, supporting the film and promoting the film, because it didn't have a big marketing budget. Like, this is word of mouth, so people that talk about it. So the fact that it's doing so well is really exciting. It feels rebellious.
I think we're getting noticed tomorrow.
Are you kidding? You heard this from Muffy?
Yeah.
Oh, what is wrong with you?
Andrew White's beautiful music. The title track is beautiful that way. And what I love, what you've been doing recently, you've been going to all the award shows completely makeup free. The idea of kind of beauty is very much a central theme of this. It's very much kind of, you look at aging and the character and what she goes through, and again, feeling beautiful. What does beauty mean to you now as opposed to kind of early on in your career?
Well, I've always known that, beauty does come from within, and that, physical beauty is perishable. And, as much as my mom wants me to go out with an eye on, I'm experimenting. This is a social experiment. I'm doing what I think is right now. And she's like, oh, please, just when is this going to end? So she's funny. She makes me laugh. But, I want to reveal myself. I want to, but in a way that is vulnerable, and it's also a challenge for me too. It's not like I wake up and I look in the mirror and I go, oh, you're ready to go out. I just feel like I'm good enough the way that I am. I want to play characters in film and not in my personal life anymore, because I do, I'm a visual artist in some ways, where the look to me is very important. And as soon as I read a script, I see the character in my head, and it could be anything. So, and Jeff Koons used to tell me every time I walk out the door, it's performance art. Anytime any of us walk out the door, it's performance art. It's how we want to present ourselves to the world. And right now, I feel like this is an intimate moment for me to be able to share myself in this way, and to be able to see pictures sometimes and go, oh boy, well, that's just me, and that's okay. And yeah, we can all get gussied up when we feel like it. And there's a time and a place, and I love makeup and I love glamour, but this is an experiment I'm doing for myself. And I also feel with the way digital photography is these days, and digital cameras, digital HD, that when there's nothing on your skin, I feel like it's at least I can say I'm not wearing makeup instead of wearing makeup and then looking horrible.
I mean, I'm probably wearing more makeup than you are at the moment.
You definitely are. I'm not wearing any makeup, but it's not that too. Like, I'm not against makeup. I just feel like this is a chapter for me that I'm very I'm trying to figure out who I am. Still, like, you know, it never ends.
I love this. You're doing it for you,
Thank you.
and you've just smashed it out the ballpark. Pamela
Thank you.
Anderson, it's been so lovely chatting to you
Nice
today.
to meet
Thank you
you,
so
too.
much. Oh my God, you guys,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much
Thank you.
for that.